All right, it is here. Power beyond belief. The new ego. For a moment, I said, I'm not going to get another one of these things, but you know what? I made an investment. All this stuff here, they have a sale on one of the pieces that goes to this trimmer. So I'm going to see about going back in there because they have it on clearance and seeing if I can fix this trimmer up and get it working right. This mower was definitely necessary. Picked it up for 600 bucks on sale, and it's more powerful and it's got a dual blade. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing performs in the yard. Manana. I'm not gonna do an official unboxing. I'm just showing you what's in the box because people do want to at least know that. As you can see, this is the charger. This bag looks about the same as the one that I have. Let's back up a little bit. Let me show you what's in there. So you saw the bag. Here's the mower itself. Where this is. Okay. We'll get into the rest of it. But the rain has really been preventing me from being able to test this mower out because I don't want to mow a wet lawn. So I'm hoping that most of this day will go by without rain, and then in the evening I will go out there and attempt to finally finish cutting this lawn, which I started well over a week ago. So as I unboxed this is the most important part of this unboxing. I was taking everything out, just going over what was in the box, and I saw these. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Immediately, when I saw these, I was like, oh man, I gotta put the blades on. But here's the thing. They're extras. So that's great, man. They give you an extra set of blades. So that's something that I didn't get out of buying the first one used. So that's something else that I didn't mention. I got 5 years of usage out of a used Ego mower. So it was probably a year or two old before I even bought it. So I got all that use out of it, and here we are, you know. So my advice is really be mindful of who you buy used gear or equipment from, because it may not be in the best condition. I think I got lucky. Like I said, I got 5 years, saved easily somewhere between $8,000 to $10,000 in lawn service money that I would have been paying out to a lawn service. So I was able to put that money somewhere else. Here we are. This is why I have decided to buy another one of these, and this time buying it brand new. So I have a warranty. I think it has like a three-year warranty or something like that on the battery. And I think the mower has I don't know. I'll check the warranty and I'll put it up on the screen, or I'll come back here and tell you in just a second. All right, this will save me time on the editing. So there you have it. You've got a 5-year tool warranty and a 3-year battery warranty. This battery, this is the new one, which looks identical to this one, so I labeled it. I labeled it by saying, like, writing 1 on there. Oops. Yeah, wrote 1 on there a few times, a couple times. Put a 1 underneath. I'll do the same thing with this one in a moment when I find a better Sharpie. The batteries are identical. The chargers are identical. This makes so much more sense for them to kind of keep things the way they are. Now, of course, if the technology gets better, significantly better, and they have to make a change, then they do that. But these guys aren't gouging their loyal consumers by changing the batteries, changing up the charging systems. I can still use all this stuff. So now I've got like a plethora of chargers. I've got 2 of these big chargers. I've got 2 of these smaller chargers. I mean, this is why I just went on and continued to make the investment. You've got a warranty, 5-year on the actual mower itself, I take it, by them saying tool, and 3 years on the battery. And just for the record, yes, the same old bag works. I just attached the old bag. This thing is ready to go right out of the box. All you gotta do is charge it up. The battery was roughly 25% charged, a little over 25%, probably more like 30%. But it's charging up right now. Like I said, we had a bunch of thunderstorms yesterday, isolated ones, but they came through here and it soaked the lawn. So I'm gonna give a few more hours for the day to go on. Hopefully a lot of that moisture will evaporate and I can get out and cut the lawn like probably late afternoon. One more thing to mention for people who aren't familiar with the Ego battery-powered mower or lawn equipment system is that they charge up pretty quick. When I plugged this battery up to the charger, it only had one illuminated light. It may have had two actually, but now as you can see it's on the third one. But what's really cool is it tells you where the battery is. So it says it's getting close to 50% full, and once it of course gets all the way there, you'll see it'll light up at 100%, and then all four of these lights will stay illuminated. They will stop flashing, and then that's when you know you can take the battery off of the charger. So we're gonna go over the controls really quick. Here's my old Ego mower. I'm using the bag. It's about to rain. Let me give you guys a little shot of the backyard. It's getting ready to rain. I've been contending with the rain for days now. I really want to get this lawn mowed. As you can see, things are a little different here. You've got like this little battery indicator, the light, where you can press that to turn it on. The battery's actually inside, so I'll have to do another side-by-side comparison in a moment, which you'll see later in the video. As you can see, the wheels are kind of worn down. I'll just go on and zoom up. This thing's been through a lot. Like I said, over 5 years with me, and then the previous owner who probably had it a good year or two before selling it to me. Just give you a little side-by-side view here, let you see what they look like. You can see the differences. I'll just show you the old one first. Here. And here is the new one. Okay, just because I know you guys will ask, I tipped the mowers over. This one had a lot of rain that it collected. It wasn't sitting on its side, as you know, but I left it outside just because it's not working right, and I was kind of like, screw it, I'm gonna leave it outside. But just to give you a look underneath, let you see the deck. As you see, it's a single blade there. Both are 21-inch cut. Oh yeah, I gotta do a follow-up video on the wet and forget, because the algae has returned. I still think it's a good product though, but we'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, here's the deck for the new one. 21-inch, but dual blade. So yeah, let's get started. So I don't think it's gonna cut very well, but we're about to find out. So I'm pressing the button down. Yep, it choked right away. So it's not handling this grass. It's still a little bit wet. I'm gonna bring this thing up to maybe number 3. See what happens there. All right, we're on number 3 now. See what happens. Okay, it's cutting. Let me see if I can get this thing to go a little bit slower. Wow, it's pretty fast. I gotta learn how to work this thing. So here's how you turn on the light. So you can turn it on up here instead of having to reach down to turn it on, which is awesome. So everything that used to be down there, let me turn this off so I can make sure. Everything that used to be down there for you to control is all up here now, which is a much better layout, I think. Okay, so here we go. You press the button down, then you hit the handlebar. I think the other one's the same way, I just forgot. Wow, okay. One of the viewers wrote in and said that I should have gotten the 1000 series, and I think I know why. But I'm still gonna try to see how this works out in the long run. But yeah, I'm gonna have to raise this, man. I'm gonna have to bring it up to, okay. It's on number 5 now. Let's see how this works. it cuts a lot cleaner, that's for sure. I'll have to make another pass. So I'm gonna move the car out of the way so I can do a quick cut here, because it's really questionable how much time I have before the rain really hits. And just for the record, I didn't put that silly little fence there. It's something the neighbor did for the kids, but I'll talk about that later. Okay, here is the grass. It was mowed on what you're seeing here to the left, like the greener part of it, which is actually a better quality grass. It's like a zoysia, if I'm saying that correctly. That was cut on the number 3 setting. This here was cut on number 2, as you can see. And there's a lot of damage here to this because this is where my daughter parks her car. This grass, on the other hand, this is probably gonna be as far as it goes, but it grew from the neighbor's yard, which is crazy. So they had new grass put in, and it spread over into our yard. People say that's not true, but that's BS, because I can tell you we didn't plant this, and if you look at it and you check the other videos, you will see the quality of the grass. Before I get into that recap, you can see here on the other side, now this was all mowed on number 2. This part right here that's a lot greener, this is on the number 3 setting. So you can see, like, the deeper you go, the browner it gets. That's a natural thing. This tree here was dying on us, and the storm came through. This was about a month ago or more, and it took this tree out. So I had to take a handsaw and chop this thing up, because my chainsaw that I did have broke, and then I ended up just not getting another one. But yeah, I got to remove this tree here. But this is what we've got going on over here. We've got a lot of nice little, my wife planted all of this, the hydrangeas and all that. Very small yard, by the way. I'm just letting you know, we have a very, very small yard. So it's easy to get this yard mowed on one charge. But let me go on and show you how much battery we have left really quick. All right, so there's the battery life. It's got 2 blocks of energy left. So let me talk about this mower. It's kind of more of the same. I like the layout of the controls better. I want to say self-propulsion function here. It's kind of weird, because I feel like this trigger is different than this trigger. It gives you a different speed. I don't know. I'm gonna read about it and figure out everything in the instructions. It's very, overall, it's a pretty intuitive mower. You can just, you take it out right out of the box. There's nothing to bolt on or assemble or anything other than the grass catcher. You have to kind of, feed the wire frame into it properly. But other than that, this is the old grass catcher. I was just using it for the heck of it. Figured I might as well get all I can out of it. But yeah, this mower, the way it cuts, so it cuts better, but I'm just gonna say that it's overall, I'm gonna say that this mower it's 30% better than the old Ego mower. And what I mean by that is it's kind of the same stuff. Like, it gets bogged down, you got to raise it up just to get through it. I ended up putting this thing on the number 5 setting, as you saw, to get most of the lawn cut, and then I had to come back and make another pass at it to get it all down. I don't recall this being what would happen to me when I used a Honda or a Toro or Snapper. These are other lawnmowers that I've had in the past. They didn't really get bogged down like that. But either way, you don't have to mess with all these little components that you would normally have to mess with your traditional lawnmower. You don't have to put gasoline in it. You just charge it up and you use it. And to get that kind of usage, so now I've invested $600. Of course there's taxes on top of that, but either way, $600. And roughly after 6 cuts, because believe it or not, people charge me. I had one guy, he was charging me either 125 or 150 per cut. Then I had another guy who was doing it for maybe like around $100 per cut, and he was coming every other week to mow the yard. So yeah, I mean, you pretty much, after you mow the yard 6 times, it's already paid for itself, and then you keep going on. And like I said, 5 years, I did the math. If I did it on an 8-month basis, which we definitely have to mow the yard 8 months out of the year here in Georgia, you know, that it came to a little bit over $8,000, or, you know, roughly around $8,000 if you just round everything. So $8,000 over 5 years I saved. But if you were to factor in those months where you just do a little bit of maintenance to make the yard look good, and you add in that extra month, then believe it or not, it kind of jumps up. But either way, you do the math. You know, you're paying someone $200 to $400 a month. That was what I did. I calculated $400 a month, 9 months out of the year, and I came up with $18,000 for 5 years of service. So yeah, there you have it. Either way, the savings is there. I think it's worth it. If you stay on top of your lawn, then you'll be able to cut it at the lowest setting if need be, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you want the lawn to look good when you cut it, at least if you have like questionable grass like I do, like where you have a mixture of weeds and all this other shit going on, and oops, excuse my language, but all this other stuff going on where you've got like, you know, your crabgrass, and you've got some fescue and Bermuda, and then you've got that zoysia, you've got this mixture going on, you got these crazy weeds back there, the kidney weeds. You know, or if you have a lawn like this one here, this is my next door neighbor's lawn. She's got a nice, it's mostly fescue, but there's some crabgrass in there, of course. But you know, she's got a pretty, her lawn is a lot more consistent than mine. Well, I can tell you right now, using the Ego on this lawn, which I have done multiple times for her to help her out, it is not easy. Like, you have to raise it and mow through it and come back for another pass if you want to get it nice and low and not have to come back in like a week to cut it again. But either way, every other week with the Ego mower, if you want to get, you know, you want to cut it and not have to come back for literally 2 weeks, then you're going to want to cut it down to the #1 setting, which is not always going to be easy if you let that grass get over, if you've got like heavy rain and the grass gets really heavy. So keep that in mind. I do recommend this mower if you want to, you know, save money and you're sitting on the fence about whether or not you want to use battery powered or gas powered. I think that, you know, once this is different, this isn't like a car. Like cars, I have plenty of opinions about electric cars. I've dabbled in that a little bit, and I just think at the end of the day, personally, I believe that electric cars they got a long way to go. You know, they got to get more range. I know they're working on it and they're claiming to have more range, but you know, an electric car that doesn't have a range of at least, you know, honestly, if it doesn't have a range of at least 1,000 miles, and that's real world, like 1,000 miles range, then I don't think it's worth making the investment in an electric car. I think it's better to go hybrid. That's what we did here with my wife's vehicle. With a mower, you don't need to worry about that because you're not going on a long distance road trip with your lawnmower. So it's fine. You can just charge it, especially if you have other batteries around. So now I have 2 of these big batteries to put in here. No problem at all. So that's it. That's my summary. I do recommend this mower if you are interested in buying it. There is a link in the description below. I didn't want to hit you guys over the head with that kind of stuff. I'm just saying it that one time. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I want to thank all of you guys for all of your support and everything, as far as like, you know, all that stuff you guys are doing, subscribing, liking, talking, having chats with me. I really appreciate all you guys. All right, I'll see you in another video very, very soon. So one complaint about the design. I like everything better about this design except for right here. There used to be a handle right there, and when you needed to fold this thing up and then lift it out of the way, it was much easier to set it in this position with that handle to help you, but they moved it right here. So just to give you an understanding, hang on, there's the handle on the old one, and it's much better. So when you fold it up like this, hang on, put this thing down like this, and then see, you can just grab right there, but now you can't do that now with this new one. So pretty unfortunate. Overall, it's better. Like I said, there's just a few minor things, but yeah, I would appreciate that handle being back there. So Ego, if you see this, or the makers of Ego, I would put that back to the way it was. I think that's better, and it's sturdier, and it's easier than having a handle right here. I just don't see the point in having a handle right there. The blade system that comes already, or just say pre-installed on this mower, when you take it out of the box, is the mulching blade. So right now, the dual blade system, this right here is your mulching. That's how you know. So It's set up to mulch. That's why they already have the mulching guard right here. Doesn't mean you can't use this without mulching. If you don't want that, that's why they put these extra blades in here, and you have to pair these. So these are, one is a more efficient blade, so basically you can get a little bit better battery life out of this mower. And then of course you've got that lift, which basically lifts that grass up through this chute right here and makes sure that it gets into that bag. So if that makes any sense. And another thing I need to point out really quick, that's very, very important about this, actually it's the #1 thing, especially if you plan on keeping this mower, and that's register this mower. You should do it right away, because as you can see right there, it says register your tool within 90 days. If you don't do that, you're screwed. So you can scan it, okay? Scan the QR code, do it any way you want to do it, but you need to do it. You know what? I'll do a separate video talking about that, but you should always register all of your products as soon as you get them. Whether you think you're going to stick with them or not, there's no penalty for registering that product. So just go on and register it. That way you will be covered for the best possible warranty, okay?